Yo, it's me, it's the SEOTT baby. Hold on. Just come a little closer, please. Thank you. Alright. And I'm back with you. My review for it says 2019 film Camp Cold Brook, starring Chad Michael Murray, Danielle Harris, Mikey Reed, and is directed by Andy Palmer. Oh, holy shit. Okay, now as I said before, hold on, I gotta put it, this is bugging me. As I said before in my haul video, this was recommended to me by a friend. The same friend who recommended Dirty Grandpa and Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. So I was highly skeptical because those movies aren't the best. So I was skeptical. I was even putting this off because, I wasn't sure if I even wanted to watch this. I bought it, but I was iffy. And then my friend wouldn't stop texting me. Have you watched it yet? Have you watched it yet? Have you watched it yet? So I'm like, you know what? I'll watch it. So I just got done watching it and okay, we're gonna talk about this. The story, of course, is this reality TV show, name I can't remember. Does it say on the back here? Haunt Squad. Haunt Squad. They are, they do this reality show where they go down and track down spooky, haunted places. And supposedly they've been doing this for 3 seasons, although they claim that they have not yet found anything in any of the shows that they've done. So how are they on for 3 seasons? The show's about to get canceled after the 3rd season, but Chad Michael Murray makes a deal with the network guy to maybe try to extend it by putting this the final episode is one 90-minute special. And they're going to do this from this place called Camp Cold Brook, which is recommended to them by the new girl, Emma. Now, if you already figured out one of the twists in this, then you're about as smart as I am. Okay, so you got, the crew consists of Jack, played by Chad Michael Murray, who's a husband, father to 2 children. You have Annie. Not Annie. Annie is the... because I want to call her Annie because she was a Rob Zombie's Halloween. She was Annie. Her name is Angie. Angela. Played by Danielle Harris. Kevin, played by Mikey Reed, who you might know. I was surprised. I heard the voice, and I'm like, wait a minute, I know that voice. And I looked at him, and I'm like, that's St. John from Victorious. And, wow. See, it's weird when you see actors that you grew up watching as a kid. In this case, I was a young adult. But on channels like Nickelodeon or Disney, who now swear, cuss, or smoke in movies, it's really weird. It's like, it's the Miley Cyrus effect, I call it, where you see these, what look like wholesome kids grow up to do, and he's smoking weed, he's smoking regular, he's saying the F word. It's just really weird. Because I was just watching him on TV earlier as St. John going, whoosh, and now he's saying the F word. And then there's Emma, who, I guess, let me see. I'm not sure who plays her. Now, the interesting thing I saw about this is that Joe Dante, he's a producer on this. So I was surprised there was no creature effects in this. Because usually Joe Dante does like, Gremlins or something like that with creature effects. But he's something tells me if he was still alive, good old Dick Miller probably would have been the sheriff in this if he was still alive. I guarantee you. Because it's Dick Miller and he works with Dante. Had he still been alive. Or he would shown up, cameo something. So the story here is that years earlier, there was an incident in the camp where there was these church goers who were going to this camp, and they accidentally ran over this little girl. And the mother was a witch of sorts, and she cast a spell on the camp that made the kids go nuts and start killing everyone. And they're there to put an investigation, try to get stuff. And, okay, as it comes to, I'm reminded of found footage 3D, where not much happens until you get towards the end, but there is more that happens in between than it does in found footage 3D, because you got like weird things happening, like the first night it's very subtle, where Jack wakes up, he grabs his camera, and he's looking out the window, and you can't tell what he's looking at, and then he comes out and he explains, he's got the camera, and he's saying that the fire that they had, they put it out, but it's back on, and I find this weird. Maybe you could do that with, like, regular cameras. I can't do it with this one on my phone, but, like, he keeps turning back and forth between in front of him and in his face, while recording, and it doesn't cut like you'd be able to do regularly. He just does that. Can you do that with regular cameras? I don't know. And he's trying to explain what's going on, like, it was put out, as you can see, and he turns it back around, and it's off. And he goes, and he says, the fire was just on, and now it's stone cold. No. Okay. No, that's not how fires work. Even if it had been a few hours after you put the fire out, the fire will still be a little warm. It won't be stone cold. There'll be still a little bit of embers in there. My folks have had fires that when they put the fire out, even the next morning they can sit out there and it'll still be warm. So I'm sorry, but that's not how fires work. Alright? I guess maybe put them out some way. I don't know. I'm not an expert, but I'm just saying. And then there's one part that really pissed me off. And then it has to do with Kevin, and it connects with this, and I just really, so it's confusing, this part, alright? Because on one hand, it's one thing, on the other hand, it's the other. There's a part where Jack communicates to Kevin, and he goes, hey, Kevin. Kevin goes, yeah, it's working. And then I can hear everything loud and clear. And then he's like, did you ever get gas for the Jenny? And Kevin doesn't answer him. He just keeps walking. And I'm like, okay, is he doing that because he's an asshole? Or is he doing that because he can't hear him? And then they do something with Jack where Angie is calling Jack. And are we supposed to believe he can't hear it? Because the way they do the sound in this is that the sound is coming out of the radio, but he just keeps walking. Are we to believe he can't hear it even though we at home can hear it through the radio? Doesn't make any sense. And then my thought is, okay, so they just can't hear the radio, like it's been cut off the communications. And then the way that Kevin acts later, like an asshole, makes me believe he was ignoring them on purpose. But then why did Jack ignore the radio? It's confusing. And not for nothing, some of the effects in this, it's a cheap made film, it's Screen Factory, Shout Factory, whatever. But there's a scene where Kevin is up on the bridge, and he's smoking, and he blows the smoke, and it takes the form of the witch lady. And it looks terrible. I even laughed, like, oh, no, it looks terrible, don't do that. And he gets pushed off the bridge into the river. I guess you could survive that. But then, like, she's talking to Kevin. Angie's trying to communicate with Kevin, and she sees him on a monitor that he's coming out of the water. And she's like, oh, really? Like, he just decided to jump off the bridge and go swimming. I don't know. And then we don't see him. I really don't like the character of Kevin because I feel like with everything that's happened to him, like he's been pushed. He's seen spooky stuff. And yet when he gets pissed off and yells at Jack, it's about how they never see anything. And he's done doing his job where they don't see anything. And I'm like, dude, you've been pushed off a bridge. You've seen weird stuff. You had these children like tie your shoes in knots, and there are no children anywhere, and you believe there's actually real children singing around, that the townspeople are doing it. But I'm sorry, but if I was him after I got pushed off the bridge, I would have believed something was going on. Then wake up with my shoes tied and there's no one around. He hears little kids laughing, but what little kids? There's no one else there but them. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And, okay, so there's two twists in this film, and one of them I already knew, which is why it's kind of just on the side. I kind of figured out from the beginning. And then the other one was just so out of nowhere that I was like, is this a jump the shark type moment here? Because it's just, it's weird. During the film, about 3/4 through, they cut to the wife, Jack's wife, and she's on the phone with, I didn't know who she was, but apparently she's Jack's mom. They said it later. Jack's mom. And they're talking about how Jack was going to come and see her anyway because he's in Oklahoma. And she's like, where? Where? And she's like, oh, some camp or something. She's like creek or stream. She's like Cold Brook. And so she goes to try to find the sheriff because apparently there's something happened. And you can kind of put together that he was involved with whatever happened there years ago with the witch. Like he was, and through flashbacks we see like it's done very quick. Like you could have the mom explain to him what happened, but we don't really see the mom again. We sort of did. Like she talks to the sheriff at the edge of the woods, and like so like there's one trope I hate in horror movies. Like in the 80s, I can understand when phones don't work. Like either there's no phones up there or the phone lines were cut. I can see that. But then they said, okay, we're getting to the cell phone age. So how do we get to where phones don't work? Oh, we'll just say there's no cell service. Even though at this day and age, you can get cell service from just about anywhere. I'm not saying anywhere, period, just about anywhere. Like there's one, for some reason, one of the buildings we clean at work, I can't get no signal and I don't understand it. I just can't get any signal. So I have to wait till we're done to go on the phone and stuff. You know, like, we take break there. So it's not like I'm trying to go on my phone during work. No, we take break there. And sometimes during break I like to go on Facebook or play a game. But I can't do that there because there's no service. And it might be my cell carrier, fine. And you could say, okay, some cell carriers you can't get. But there's different cell carriers and there's different quality with cell carriers nowadays. And I'm sorry, just saying that no cell phones work out here is bullshit. At least one of the cell phone carriers you can get to work out there. I guarantee it wouldn't be none. The reason I bring this up now, because this was at the beginning when the sheriff was bringing him out there. He says during this, Angie is really spooked one night, and because she's trying to film something and she gets spooked, and so the next day they wake up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and they take Jack goes to walk her out, and they get lost going around the circle. That's another thing I hate. All right, you try to leave, and I hate it in these kind of movies where we can't let them leave, so let's just say they get stuck going around the circles. I hate that. I really do. I hate that because it's just a reason for them to keep staying at the place. It's like in found footage movies where they just say, keep recording everything! As if that's the reason to keep recording stuff. Okay, keep recording everything. Why? Why? It's like quarantine, movie Quarantine, right? Make sure you record everything. But the guy doesn't ask, why? You just make sure you keep it. That's not a reason. Just because you say you keep recording everything does not mean, does not give you a reason to record everything. Here, I thought it was going to be found footage. It's not. Because when it started and they showed a thing like it's a TV show, I'm like, oh, they're going to copy Grave Encounters. No, it's not a found footage. Only it's kind of half like when they show the video camera recording. That's not really found footage because it's their footage they have with. And another thing I didn't like is that they made an excuse for why the camera didn't record anything. Like when when something spooky actually happens and she sees it on the camera, they're like, oh, it didn't record. Why? And then Kevin's like, oh, I recorded for sound and I set it for sound and movement. Movement? What movement? Ghost movement? I'm like, ghost movement will still be detected by motion sensors. It's happened in other horror movies. Ghost movement will still be picked up by motion sensors. It still works that way. Watch the Paranormal Activity movies. Watch Conjuring. It works. I'm just saying. So that was a stupid excuse as to why it didn't work, because we've seen in better horror movies like The Conjuring and even Paranormal Activity, I believe, mostly The Conjuring, that motion sensors do work with ghosts. So I'm just saying. So the ending. Let's get to the ending, because the twists. So first, like, we see that something's going on. Like, when the mother freaks out, we can tell, okay, he was there. And so they find that Kevin is in the creek or whatever. So they go to get him out. And this is where we get flashbacks that Jack, as a kid, and some other girl were trying to run away from the kids. And he left her to hide underneath some canoes that were there. And I'm like, okay, so that little girl's going to turn out to be Emma. Because I predicted at the beginning, they called her New Girl, and it was her idea to go out there. I'm like, she's going to be part of it. She's got to be. And there was a part where she got freaked out by the spiders. I'm like, okay, maybe she's not. But she does, because she takes a rock, and she kills Angie, knocking him back in the head. And then her neck is broken, I think, too. But she explains that she was left behind and she thought she was free, but the spirit, the witch lady held on to her somehow, and like she brought them back for some reason. And then we quickly see flashes of him in the water, the mom and the sheriff showing up, and then he wakes up in the hospital. All right, his wife is there, and he says, Emma, and she's like, it's okay, Emma explained everything. He goes, what? How he was trying to rescue Kevin from drowning, and he went unconscious, and the sheriff saved him. Mom and the sheriff saved him. So, in other words, the mom and the sheriff didn't see the spirit lady either. They couldn't have, otherwise it wouldn't be that easy to explain it off. Emma comes in and to talk to him, and the wife goes out to get the phone for FaceTime, and she says Emma says she's no longer with me. I don't know where she went, but she's gone now. I don't feel her anymore. And he's like, get out of my room. And so she leaves, and I said, something's going to happen with the kids. I guarantee you something's going to happen with the kids. That's what I said. And sure enough, they go to FaceTime, and they're like, Daddy, we want you to meet Annie. And he's like, Annie, our new babysitter. And of course they don't show her face, but it's the witch woman. And they said, and the kids say, she wanted a family, and now we're her family now. And he freaks out, and he's yelling at the phone, and then ends. It ends. Now, I'm one to watch movies and say, hey, they could do a sequel from this. Could they? Yes. Should they? Maybe. This film when I first started watching this, I was like, I'm gonna hate this. The characters themselves, like the character of Kevin is a terrible character. He's a terrible character. He's written horribly because all this crazy weird shit has happened to him and he still doesn't believe about what's going on. He claims there's nothing there, even though his ass has had his shoes tied by someone he didn't see. He got pushed off of a bridge by someone he didn't see. I'm sorry, but it would have taken me being pushed off a bridge for me to figure out that something's going on here, and he just won't believe it for some reason. And then you have Danielle Harris, who, God bless her, she's doing her hardest. And she was so good when she was younger, but here, it's like she had to have cue cards everywhere she went. It's like she's on autopilot or something. Oh no, there is a ghost. I want to get the fuck out of here. It's like, is she a robot now? Because I thought she was going to be the best thing in this, but it's just like, what happened to her? She used to be so good when she was younger. Even in like Urban Legend and Wish Upon a Star, movies that were horror movies, she was good. And here, she's like on autopilot. I know it's a Scream Factory release, so it's like they should be giving their all. But Chad Michael Murray is giving his all in this. Chad Michael Murray is the best actor in this film, I tell you. He is great. And I knew he was going to be great because I liked him in One Tree Hill and even in House of Wax. And it's nice to see that he's not actually playing the jackass character in this. Kevin is a jackass character. You know, he was in House of Wax. He was an asshole character. He's playing like a mix between Lucas Scott in One Tree Hill and his asshole character from House of Wax, where there's a little bit of the jerk in him where he wants to make the money and keep doing the show or whatever. And, you know, and how he, you know, there's a point where like Angie says, if I cut it on video, I'd be able to show you. And he goes, if you cut it on video, we'd be out of here, and have something like, you know, like he only cares about. But towards the end, he does realize that something is going on, and he cares about more than that. And so he's not that bad of a character. All in all, guys, this movie was pretty good. I wouldn't say it's like Oscar worthy or anything, but it's pretty good. I'm glad I picked it up. I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10 because there's some things with the characters I didn't like. Some of the twist with Emma was really easy to pick up on. As soon as they said she was a new girl and that she was the one who suggested this, I knew that she was part of it. So yeah, and the fact that I don't really care for the witch aspect. Like the story was that the witch used a spell on children to do stuff. I'm like, can they just have it be a slasher killer, which makes more sense with these camp stories? I know it's different for a witch, but with stories like this, a slasher killer is more. It's easier to do, I guess, and it's easier to explain. Who knows? But all in all, 8 out of 10. What are your thoughts on Camp Cold Brook? Let me know in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. My left foot is falling asleep. It's falling asleep. I can't feel nothing.